So, question. This is that, show how ignorant I am. The RC caps. We've got two alternatives on the truck, this one, and then we've got the yellow box CPAP. And so I brought in a patient one time with this, and they were asking me what the end title was. We mess with end title, but not like in depth. Can you kind of explain that? And how that
I've seen a couple of them. I don't know very much about them, except for that there's a way to set it here. Like this one application. It needed in the middle. I don't even know how to turn it. This has got your,
I know it has a knob there on that one side, so.
well, that's,
What should it be set at? I guess that may be a better.
I don't even know. Is that for oxygen to be put in? What is that? For?
That? I just assumed it was the dial code or the.
I mean, I don't know how that would take what's
Well,
on.
that should,
Where's the instructions?
that should be where it exhales.
The P?
If I'm not mistaken,
One doubt, blue instructions out.
but
Oh, that line. Well,
I'd have to look
In
these up. I've seen a couple of them with patients that come in,
Yeah.
and I've sat there and you have to
I
start
love
figuring out how you
I love it
dial
too.
in your.
I think it actually tells on there, doesn't it?
I had it.
We have said some different ones. It wasn't that orange color one.
I was thinking
initially.
we,
Thought it was green. But
I had it hung up
we
in the
had some
truck
that
for a
were
while
green,
and it comes
as I
down
remember.
with the different
This guy.
percentages. Okay, so this is a stupid question too.
well, I answered a question, it just needs to know how it works.
What's the difference?
So
between-
this hooks up to the oxygen,
Yeah.
because you have to have it on for this to work.
So, yeah. But
I don't know how you know what you got your patient on. Is it an arrow somewhere?
For the
That, I know on the green one, it had actually where you dialed it in.
It had
told,
numbers.
yeah,
Maybe that's the
But
one I
that one was
missed with.
probably cheaper, so they got it.
I will have to,
It's got
you'll just have
numbers
to
on
give
it.
me all of it. Yeah, but nothing turns.
Let me see it, please.
It's got the little knobby.
Yeah, but it don't tell you. If it's 5, 10,
Lost the knob
15.
again.
So what's the difference between BiPAP and CPAP?
Okay,
That was my question.
CPAP is continuous positive airway pressure.
Mhm.
And we give that to patients and we'll dial it in and, or set them on like a CPAP at 10, a CPAP at 8, whatever they need that keeps their airways open, to stop the apnea during the night, to keep their sats up. And that's why it's important to go to the sleep lab.
Okay.
Now, BiPAP is bi-level. We set an inspiratory pressure and an expiratory pressure, like PEEP, so it don't go all the way back out.
Okay.
And it helps blow off CO2 more. It's more for our patients that need their CO2 blown off.
Okay.
We've got to work, it's called non-invasive ventilation. It is,
I think that's a pressure monitoring port.
The knobby?
well, you gotta put something in there and monitor it. I think we don't know what it is, but what are you gonna put in there?
I don't know, I just
Like
read
an
it on the
Like
directions.
an echo?
It says
or-
if required, connect a pressure manometer to the lower pressure monitoring port of the device.
So what is it set on automatically if you just slap this on somebody? Does
We-
it tell you?
We just slap it.
We just put it on.
I know, but how much is it on?
I think it was Stephanie that was
Uh,
like, isn't that
you
her
can-
name? Curly headed.
It shows it going
Stephanie?
from,
Westport?
It says it says do not exceed 25 liters per minute. So we can,
well, it tells you that on here, 25 liters per minute.
yeah,
And up to 25 centimeters of water pressure, all the way down to 5. And 8 is the lowest. Well, it's got 0 back here for oxygen. 8, 12, 15, 20, 25 liters.
and it gives you
I
the,
don't know how y'all know.
I'm gonna keep using the yellow ones.
The what?
The yellow ones.
I've had great
only-
success out of these.
Yeah, so
I did
So
research
what are you doing
on,
with this knob when you put it on?
nothing, we just leave it.
You just leave it tight?
I mean, it says,
So you should have to put some, so I'm gonna say, no, I'm not gonna say anything. You should have some kind of pressure manometer on here that tells you every time they breathe in what pressures are getting. And drop, 10, drop, 10, drop. 25.
So that's where that port comes in.
I'm assuming, I don't know, I wanna read on that. The last one y'all, that I seen in ER, we turned it and picked what we wanted. Cause me and Betsy played with it.
I just like them because they don't use as much oxygen as the yellow one.
There's so much new stuff and I'm sure it's a quick, easy fix and I think it's wonderful.
Yeah.
But we need to know how to use it.
Yeah.
BiPAP, you got that all? Everybody understand that? BiPAP is more like trying to keep somebody off the ventilator. On ventilators, there's a volume, but most of your BiPAPs will deliver a volume, you just don't have no way to see it on most of them. Mechanical dead space, y'all know that's the ventilator dead space, the tubing that we add. Every time it starts here, gets into the patient, that's the mechanical dead space. And all I've got written down about oxygen. Is there anything else that y'all can think of that y'all would like to know?
I think you said this, I think this is just a guide.
Yeah, I think it's a guy too.
Where's the straps for that? That's in there, okay.
It come out of that altogether?
I know that Fowler discussed this before we ever bought them. He needs to be here because he could explain it. He can explain it to me.
What about any of the paramedics at Mountain Home? Do they use that?
I don't think so. I think Vitalink used it. Springward might have. Vitalink's the one that showed, I think it showed Fowler now, and then he did some research on it. But it's good for short term use.
I'm sure you
You
can
don't
look it up
wanna
on the
use it
internet, and
long
they'll have a
term.
video
Yeah.
on it, on YouTube, if you know what it's called and everything. What? Is there questions?
HGL.
Not really.
Okay, we're gonna go over ambulance bags for a minute.
Oh, yeah.
So this is ventilation.
I got time in here too, we'll go over that a little bit. If I got time.
You're right.
I said I wouldn't take very long, but
No,
I get started, I talk, I'm sorry.
no,
That's not high school ventilation.
Okay.
we need that.
Yeah,
love
it's
autocorrect.
big.
Oh, vent. Is it I or X ventilation?
No, it's not a D.
Don't apologize.
What?
Yeah, it's VEND.
Okay, so I accidentally hit
VENT.
the D letter. I know it's not ventilation. No, but
It is
Pretty much the
today.
reason I left the group
Smarter
chat
than
last
you
night.
today.
I just listen pieces and parts. Anybody know what that is?
Oh, but I bet it makes a hell of a rocket if you squeeze it fast enough.
Heat valve.
Yeah.
peak valve and
It goes on the exhalation side of the bag. You have a patient that's so hard to bag, and I know y'all try to innovate as soon as you can. Dial in your feet. Eight. Got little letters here on the side, I don't pass it around, let y'all play with it. Got a patient that you're bagging that's just absolutely not oxygenating, no matter what you try. You know how we dial into those in. We can hold their lungs open. The more we can hold their lungs open, excuse me, the more oxygen we get out to the body and help them ventilate better. We're going to try and start putting these on every day. I hate to say it. Pain in the butt. to get this in. Anyway, that's the way that goes. Y'all pass it around, squeeze it, and see how it's holding that bag. Get the bag all the way once.
So what's the purpose of it? Is it where we don't bag too much?
No,
or it'll keep your.
it holds air in their lungs to where the next time you bag, it pushes more of it out. It helps oxygenate the patient. You get a patient that you cannot oxygenate,
Yeah.
which are these vents, got people on it. Your little vent like y'all got it?
Yeah.
It's got people on it.
I brought ours.
Okay, well, anyway, you can take this around, squeeze it out, do your first bag. One. Squeeze it all out of it. You get a patient that's really really hard to bag.
Mhm.
That sometimes help relieve some of that pressure.
I'm gonna throw something out there. You might, I don't disagree or agree with it, but the trauma conferences I went to, there's a nurse or an anesthesiologist. And it was actually talking about trauma, but what he advocated is you don't ever need to use an adult BVM.
Oh, really?
He said the child one, he said, because that one has what is 800 mils,
Yeah.
maybe 1,000.
Most people don't
You
need that
don't need
sort
that
of.
much. I'm not saying I agree or disagree. He's the expert, not me, but he said you have enough volume in that PDA BVM for 99%. I don't remember what percentage, but for the vast majority of the people don't even need to have one of those used on them. That was his talk about it. I don't know. You know, I didn't say I agreed or disagreed.
I was gonna throw something out there since Tim brought that up. You know, about people need more oxygen, no more air than me. But, you know, we used to go by how much person weight.
Mhm.
Well, that's becoming a no-no.
Mhm.
It's going by your height. Because it don't matter if you weigh 500 pounds,
You're a little stumpy.
your lungs are not any bigger than they were when you weighed 120 pounds. They don't grow. So that's why we was having so much barotrauma and stuff like that in the earlier days, is because we were bagging everybody with force, and setting our events at,
Yeah.
you know, if somebody weighed 600 pounds, divided by 300, that's 3,000 liters.
Yeah.
Nobody needs
Good Lord.
3,000 liters.
Mhm.
Just imagine how much barotrauma
Blowing
is
them
causing
off.
down in there.
For your ARDS and all that.
Yeah. So just kind of keep that in the back of your mind. Somebody's very big, don't mean that their lungs are any bigger.
They just need mushroom on the outside.
And that's why you're seeing a lot of your vents go to height. Now this vent, the one thing y'all need to remember is we do not use this on anybody that weighs less than 98 pounds.
Mm.
That's why we had the blue vent that we give to y'all. We send it out with y'all, of course, when we
Yeah.
set it up. I was planning on giving it to y'all, but we can't. Have one that fits everybody.
Oh,
Okay, so.
What is this for save? What is this?
Here vent is the Savvy Tech. You got, this is the one that you had everybody watch
Yep.
the video on,
Mhm.
and we have one, and you have one. I'm gonna go over all this and I'll start from the top and tell you that we may not be having this very long. Because those tubes over there,
Mhm.
the circuits are like $700.
What?
close.
$700 for a circuit?
They're ridiculous.
Have they always been that expensive?
I mean, ours for our big vents was only like 160. I don't know if it's just, I don't know why it's so high, but we can't afford that. Me and Bethany's tried putting pieces together and making, which we've done pretty good. We can't get away from this tube though. And I've tried to find tubing this size, but we have got this tubing that I feel like works fine for the exhalation over here for the O2. And if you get one, and I noticed you have one over there that has this little tubing on it too, that goes back here, which is originally what goes on it. But you gotta make sure that's all pulled out. It cannot be squished together, because it will be squished together. You gotta pull it all out. This is where your oxygen, this tubing has to be pulled all the way out. This one, you don't gotta worry about it because this is way down.
So let me, you're pointing and we can't see, so.
Yeah.
Let me pull.
We don't need that.
So what, you explain it to me.
Okay, this right here is your oxygen side. Whether you put oxygen on it or not, you have to put this on. It's got a little black cap that goes in, you pull it off, and it tells you air O2 intake. You put this on, and you pull this tubing all the way out. Then you put your O2 on, and then you plug it into whatever it says on here that you need. Everybody, do y'all remember looking at this? Have y'all seen all this? Or you seeing the graph on the movie?
We watched the.
The video?
Video.
It's really, really easy. If you just follow that, it takes you step by step. You can't mess up on these.
Wait.
You can't, they won't fit.
Oh,
So this
Go.
tubing goes there. This line,
figure
it ain't
it
gonna
out.
go there because it's too little. It's got to go up here on the pressure line. This is your pressure line. And it likes to come off, so you just gotta watch these. If something, don't worry, it will alarm disconnect if something's disconnected. And where do we start at if it's disconnected? We start at the patient's mouth.
Oh, okay.
Because a lot of times this piece will get loose. Us bagging and moving it around, getting them hooked up and stuff.
Mhm.
This piece will get loose. And that's where
Usually a
it'll be.
piece of cobain.
So I always start here, my patients too, whatever's hooked to you, I start there first. And then I start pushing everything all the way back. And eventually I find it.
Just
So if you get
reconnect
a
everything.
low
you
pressure alarm, something's probably loose. High pressure alarms, it's patient's coughing, needs suction. And something like that. And another thing, you don't know what a trait ballot is.
A what?
A trait ballot that goes on the end of this right here.
Tray.
It's blue. We put them on before for y'all. I know I have. It goes on here, it hooks on to the patient. Right onto the ET tube. It hooks on here. It's a little T. And it's got tubing that comes out and hook it up to suction. You run it down through there and
Oh,
you
yeah.
suction. And you pull it back out. You guys can always ask for one of those if we don't have it on there. It's the easiest suction in the world. You don't have to worry about it. You put it in until you meet resistance, pull back 2 centimeters, and then intermittently
So is it like
suction.
a French tip, pretty much?
Let me go get one.
French tip cap?
Mhm.
We have those.
Oh, yeah, we use it.
Let me go get one. Well, let me finish it here.
Okay.
Okay, you can't really mess it up. All these pages tell you, once you get everything hooked up, make sure everything's going good. Always, this is an HME, this is called a heat moisture exchanger. We should always use one of these also,
Okay.
because what it does, it takes the place of the big vents, it's got the heaters on it that help with condensation. It helps it's easier on the patient's lungs and them themselves, this HME. And we usually have a whole bunch of these too. But anyway, I don't know where I was going to. But you turn this on up here, and it's gonna sound like it reminds me, if you've heard it, like an old Tommy truck horn. Now, it's gonna do that till you pick a height and weight. And once you pick your height and weight, it's gonna set it automatically.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we're gonna say, and it's best to always set it up with a bag on it and make sure it's working properly before you put it on a patient. We're gonna pick 5 foot, and the reason why we're gonna do that, because otherwise, their peak inspiratory pressure alarm will drive us nuts. Then we gotta confirm it, so they're 5 foot, confirm it. Don't it remind you of that? Like a old Tommy car?
Yep.
That's the way it sounds.
Mhm.
It's all right. It works really well. Bethany absolutely loves it. I've only got the big one. You got a silence alarm up here, because we've got disconnect.
Just imagine that, the echo, the cat no.
Did you put the weight in also, Rhonda? What you put 5 foot, 5 feet? You have to put both, I
You
can't.
put 5 foot and hit confirm,
Okay,
then it does the rest of it.
okay.
This button up here is alarm silence. Shut
Okay.
the crap up.
So you don't
And
have
it's
to put a
saying the peak-
weight.
The peak
correct?
inventory is reached, which is 30. I was hoping. And you can always increase this if you got a patient that, there's not a lot of crap in there, their pressures are gonna be reached fast, and there ain't no way to change anything up the pressure limit, even though it's not gonna reach it. So what we're gonna do. See if it'll go down. I only said it yesterday and it shut up. But that's why it's saying that, it's because it's on this bag. These bags are tiny.
Just imagine everything else going off at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
I'd be overstimulated by the time we get there.
Mhm.
Drive faster. God, you're it.
You don't have any people on because you don't ever turn your people on with a bag on it.
What
But
now?
you don't turn your people on, you put it on the patient.
Okay.
Okay, these you turn your people. 5, 6, start in that area, up to 8. You need a little more, go up to 10.
I don't hear that well, and I misunderstand sometimes. You put a height in, okay?
Put your height in and get confirmed.
Did you not also say you had to put a weight in, or did I miss something? No.
So they don't do weights anymore, is what she was saying. We're measuring by height now
It's
and
hard
not
for
by
me to
weight.
hear. Distance.
Yeah, because this thing's loud.
So just a height, okay?
Just
You
height.
just pick your height.
How high does it go? Because Bay is 6'7".
6.3.
How?
6.3.
So the rest of us are screwed that are over 6'3".
No, you can look in that little folder.
It says 6'5".
Well, Bay,
I'm dead.
I've enjoyed working with you.
Me and Shayna are gone because it only goes down to 4'3" too, so.
You can go back to,
I'm 5'3", thank you.
I don't want
How many circuits do we have for that, Bay? I mean, just happen.
2?
We have 2 and
Yeah.
It says something on there, if you'll read, there's a chart, and it says for so much over, read at the bottom of that page.
I may be selling these on the black market though for $700
Can we not
a
reuse
piece.
them?
It says 6'5", and that's where I stopped.
Yeah, it may be on the chart, but read at the bottom what it says.
not.
Somebody higher,
So tidal volume at like 6'5".
okay, go on down, look, is there not a little piece down there?
It says tidal volume based on ideal body weight at each height rounded to the nearest 10. Save to presets default to male at 6 mil per, okay, so 6 milliliters per kilogram.
Okay.
So it is weight
you can-
based.
You can up your volume to what it needs to be.
Okay.
So if they're too tall, then you base it on their weight.
No,
No?
you still base it on their. Didn't it say?
Then why is it giving?
No, it says 72 plus presets default to male at 6 milliliters per kilogram.
We're all learning.
We're all learning.
Okay.
I guess you
So it would be based on your weight.
Let's go ahead and tell us what you weigh, so if something happens, we know.
325.
Huh?
325.
345?
25.
do. So if you do that, divide it by, instead of doing the 6 milligrams, if you divide it by 2
I got it.
at half,
Gotta put an extra tube in my backside.
you know, and then see how they do, and you can always go up.
Okay.
Always go up with your weight first, then you go
So
up.
start low, then work your way up.
Right.
It'd be better to be too little than too
So
much.
half of it is not what it needs to be. If you figure it like that, it's gonna be higher.
Yeah.
So if you take the weight, divide it by 2, add 0 on the end,
So
that's,
325
okay,
divided by 2.
will be 150, 170.
Okay. And then you want to
Yeah,
back
add a
it
0.
down.
That'd be 1,700.
Right.
So I'd probably back it
You
down.
want us to live.
Do you have a will to live? That's the question.
No, not really.
So what would you start him at?
I divide it by half, starting there.
So the 150.
The 1,500.
1500.
That's 0.
That's a lot.
Yeah, but if you
That's-
look at this,
If you
you
add
said
that
you're
up, it's gonna be a lot more.
6'7".
Yes.
Good late.
So for 6'5" at the 6 milliliters per kilogram, the tidal volume for the 6'5" estimated person is coming out to be 540.
Yeah.
When I'm doing this other math, it's coming out to be 975, which I don't know, I would ventilate you at 975. I think this chart, it's pretty much going up either 10 or 20 per inch.
Why do y'all want to?
And so I think I'd probably go to
Yeah, but
580.
yeah, if you figure it by your weight,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
We're back down to doing a half of a bamboo bag anyway. I mean, that's what.
Right, but if we're using a ventilator,
Right.
like, we don't have control of it.
Right.
Yeah, the only one that gets anything with me keeling over is Patience, so she's the only one on my life insurance, other than Harley, so.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
just because I'm being willed to Harley after Brett dies.
You just gotta go by what you know, what you've been taught, and common sense.
Mhm.
Well, it's a good thing that we only usually sing when we come from the ER. Yeah. So everything's already set up for it.
Critical
Yeah.
thinking
And then there's
skills.
always your bag to gear.
Which we
Yeah.
usually do.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever hooked up the vent in or out. I've always
Oh,
just
no.
bagged.
Really? Really code?
The gray bins. I love the gray bins. I just don't like going long distance with them because they use so much O2.
I see, that's what
Right.
You can't have an HME on there when you're,
Gold ones?
No, I
oh,
don't
you
mean
guys
it.
don't buy.
The only thing person you use on is a dead person. It doesn't cycle with their respiration, you set it at a rate of whatever, and a time volume.
Then why do we still have them?
We have them because you use them in a code.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's when
Hook 'em up
that's when
for
I
code.
use them. Yeah.
That's one of the things that,
That's the second thing I looked up.
Any more questions on this before I turn it off? You can't have an HME on it when it's on the bag. That's why we kept alarming.
Oh, okay.
Causing pressure back against it. You have to have- This is when you put it on the
Do we
table.
have that?
No, you don't.
No.
No,
Okay.
you don't.
That's an extra 150.
Now explain to me that. You're charging?
Are
You
you-
ain't gonna be doing charges anymore.
First of all, in EMS, you only two line item charge, and it's base and mileage. You cannot charge for supplies.
Yeah.
So yes.
Yeah.
Is that why we quit
everywhere.
filling out that sheet?
Yes, there's no point in it.
Yeah.
Because it's all mileage, and we used to do it because they'd use that to figure out, okay, how much did they use in a year period when we still budgeted.
Right, okay.
That was what that was for, but
I don't understand. To me, mileage is for the vehicle and the gas.
the mileage is where you make your money
Yeah.
I
in
know
EMS.
that.
I mean, it's $16.50 a mile here.
So you
Some
don't even get
places
to charge
it's
by
21.
procedure anymore.
You cannot.
That don't make it look a sense.
No,
So why do we have to list everything? Our procedures?
Why do you have to listen?
Yeah.
Because that's part of your PCR. The state requires it.
That will determine whether you're also a,
ALS,
ALS,
or whatever.
okay.
yeah,
But I'm really missing the point, apparently, because you're asking why you list the procedures you did?
no, on the chart,
On the EPCR.
Yes.
yes.
Yeah. Well, no, in the
Well,
drop
this
down
really
box, I
pulled
mean, that's
data
more
from.
important than what it used to
Yeah.
be. And I just assumed
Okay.
that it was for
Everything's data driven.
financial purposes.
No, everything's
Okay.
data driven. The state pulls that's where they come up with the data and say, okay, you know, this works this way, this works that way, etc. I mean, I'm not explaining it very well, but that's what it's for.
Okay.
But in your, any narrative that you do, you I do anyways, those procedures that I've done for that patient. And also the drop down. I think it's kind of redundant. But if you read that attention providers, that's pretty much what it's saying.
So you get paid by the mileage,
Mhm.
by the
Patient
class
loaded.
that we are, oh,
Patient loaded miles.
okay.
Oh,
patient
I've run
loaded
it square a
miles.
few times.
And then,
You have a base
recording
rate.
this.
And it goes anywhere from probably, I'm throwing this figure out, $5.40 for a BLS non-emergency, up to an ALS 2, 1,600-ish. I mean, that's not
And that's supposed
exact.
to cover all your supplies you're
It's supposed
using
to,
and
but it
everything.
doesn't.
Well, no.
But
Right now, it's
where the money is at is
$750.
in transfers in EMS.
Well, we're gonna try to either find single pieces that we can put them together, or as long as it'll work, you know, the same. But I don't know what you think.
Sanitize it.
I don't know about that, David, but they used to charge many years ago for everything you use.
Oh, yeah.
And then Medicare
If you
put
need
a
it.
stop to
No,
that.
Otherwise,
I
I got over here and try to stuff.
I've got to fix one of another exit.
Excessively long.
You may could, I don't remember.
Because it seems like when I started that. I remember being told that, but again,
Why say that?
30 years ago.
So anything sterile, you don't get to charge extra?
Excuse me?
Anything sterile, you don't get to charge extra?
It's
I'm
Med-
sorry,
that's
I couldn't help you
Medicare
on
for you. Medicare decides if you're gonna do something every other insurance. So we used to pay for the procedure. If let's just say I intubated somebody, that was X number of dollars for that procedure, plus for your equipment, you could charge for all of that. And it's probably been about 20 years ago or so, that they said, we're not doing that anymore.
I mean, I know that everything on the floor is getting to where it's procedure protocol also. And, you know, and we don't get to charge, and that's right, we don't get to charge anything for us being respiratory therapists or y'all being
Well-
EMS anymore. It's gotta be all be in that charge.
One thing, if you don't care, I don't want to bore you. I know a lot about CAH hospital, critical access, because my wife has taught me a lot. When a patient is admitted, you get X number of dollars per day. And let's just say it's 900.
Right.
It varies from year to year.
Yeah, it does.
Any procedure you do for that patient, you're not getting paid any extra. So what's important is probably boring, you don't really care, that if they come through the ED, that's when they need to do the CTs and all these x-rays and all these procedures, because that's outpatient service.
Right.
Once you're in-house, you don't get paid for that.
Yeah, I knew that.
That's the difference between us and a PPS hospital,
don't
like
understand
Baxter's a
that.
PPS, pay per service. So they get paid X number of dollars or can charge for every procedure they do. Now, they're not gonna get paid for it. I mean, we know how much.
Let's get a percentage.
It's a percentage that Medicare is gonna allow. Medicare has allowable, let's just say, for instance, I don't know, intubation in the hospital, in the ED, $500. That's their allowable charge. Doesn't mean they're gonna pay that.
Yeah.
But that's the most that they will pay for that procedure.
No matter what we charge.
I know this is probably boring you, but I mean, it's
So if it's 500, you're gonna get probably 200.
maybe. Maybe. And it depends how they code it out. That's one of the difference between, and we have good coders and builders, I'm not saying we don't. But they have people over there that are really professionals and know how to get the most money for procedures.
And hopefully that'll help us.
I think it will.
I think it will too. I think we need to. I
But
mean,
coding, yeah.
I don't know about your charges, but my charges.
I can.
I'm through unless y'all have any questions.
We're gonna take a break and we'll be right back.
Thanks.